Hello, this is Mr. Mendez, and the purpose of this screencast is twofold. First, I'm going to get everybody started on the history lesson today, and that is cause number 6 of the Civil War, and it is the election of 1860, which was the election of Abraham Lincoln. This made the South very upset, so upset that they left the United States to form their own country. That is called seceding. Also, important things on here. Here are your notes. I'll show you a larger version of this, but all of you have this packet in your history section of your binder. And then you have the reading, which is right here. So click on this and you will get the reading. Finally, you have the story of us, election of 1860 and secession. I will prompt you when to watch this, because I want you to watch this before you do the reading. So you may be jumping back and forth between videos. All right, so in order to get all of us started, let's take a look at the graphic organizer. So you're reading 254 in Social Studies Alive. I just showed you that. You're completing this cause and effect chart. I'll show you how that works in a second. And you need to use the word bank below, which is right here. So we have a cause. What happened during the election of 1860? And you're describing the election of 1860. And then you have an effect. What was the impact of that election? And of course, we have words like Abraham Lincoln, secede, Confederacy, Fort Sumter. So those words need to appear throughout here. But obviously we have the election of Abraham Lincoln, and then after the election, the South leaves the Union or secedes. So you'll be completing this after you read. Reading is here. And if you are going to be reading on your own, I'd like you to come back here and you're going to watch this video, Story of Us, Election of 1860 and Secession. Then you will go into the reading. If you are going to do the screencast or read aloud along with me, please stick with me throughout this. Okay, so right now, if you are going to do the screencast, I'd like you to stop this video and go and watch the YouTube video on the election of 1860. And then come back and pick up where we left off. So you should pause now. All right, we are back. You should have just watched the video, The Story of Us, Election of 1860 on Abraham Lincoln. And I hope you have some idea in your mind of why the South left the Union. Why did Lincoln's election make them so upset? Well, let's preview this page. We have the word secede, which is to officially withdraw from a government or country. We have Confederacy, the nation formed by 11 states in order of secession, which means in order that they left South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Virginia, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Tennessee. A lot of these are cotton-producing states, and these are the states that left the Union or left the United States. Then, of course, we have Abraham Lincoln, and if we read this caption here, Abraham Lincoln was a free soiler. He didn't want to spread slavery to the new territories. This upset the South, and so when he was elected, the South decided to secede. They knew that the person that was elected maybe meant the end of slavery. So, 18.7, the election of Abraham Lincoln. By the time Americans voted for president in 1860, the Union was close to splitting apart over the issue of slavery. The Republican Party's candidate was Abraham Lincoln. He promised to leave slavery alone in the South, but he was firmly against its spread into new territories. For most white Southerners, this made Lincoln their enemy. Conflict over slavery helped split the other major party, the Democrats. The vote against Lincoln was divided among 3 other candidates. Lincoln won the election, but he did not win a single Southern state. So he probably did not win the popular vote. He just was able to defeat the 2 other candidates, but he wasn't elected by a majority of the United States. Lincoln's election alarmed Southern leaders. They did not even wait to see what as the new president would do. One by one, 7 Southern states seceded or left from the Union. to protect their right to own enslaved people. They joined together as the Confederate States of America, or the Confederacy. Early in 1861, the Confederacy chose its own president. He was Jefferson Davis of Mississippi. The new nation moved quickly to take over federal forts and other property in the South. Still, President Lincoln and many other Americans hoped that the Union could be saved without going to war. So in other words, now that the South is its separate country, it went to all what were formerly forts held by the U.S. government. It went in and took those forts over so that it could get the ammunition and the supplies, and they readied themselves for war because they knew the North might be coming. But on April 12, 1861, Confederates attacked Fort Sumter. This was a fort that was held by the United States of America, but it was in the South. This was a federal fortress in the harbor of Charleston, South Carolina. For 34 hours, Southern cannon shelled the fort. Finally, the Union commander surrendered. The Civil War had begun. In the South, church bells rang out in celebration. Soon, 4 more states joined the Confederacy. Most Southerners believed that the United States would allow the Southern states to go without much of a fight. Few imagined how long, bloody, and terrible the Civil War would be. So now that you've read this, and of course you've watched the video, take you back to the graphic organizer, and you're going to be completing this. Remember to use all the words in the word bank. As soon as you're done with this, you have completed your history assignment for the day. All right, thank you.